My name is Casadia. I run a criminal defense firm in Hammonton, New Jersey. I practice in the South Jersey region, primarily in the southern Jersey counties. I went to law school in Philadelphia. I went to Drexel. I became a prosecutor. I went up in Burlington County. I was a prosecutor there for 3 years. My first trial was actually a homicide. We tried that case. It was a hung jury. So when we went back to try it a second time, they let me try it. And I tried the whole thing through. He was convicted. I tried many cases since then. After 3 years, I moved down to the Atlantic County Prosecutor's Office. And I was there for 4 years. I tried a number of cases there as well. When you're a prosecutor, I think, for me at least, and a lot of other people, you are there because you want to do justice, right? Sometimes, and a lot of times, you were stuck prosecuting things that you didn't really believe in. And over time, it wears on you. What is really at the core of this process is what's fair. And what I found, especially now being in criminal defense, is that you go from one county to another county, commit the same exact offense, and it is treated completely differently. You'll be facing state prison in one county, and another they'll offer you probation. Is that fair? Is it just? I don't think it is. Representing people now, I get to do what I enjoyed the most as a prosecutor. I get to help people. You know, most of my cases as a prosecutor, they were no victims. There was no one that I really felt like I was fighting for. Now, I'm fighting for people who deserve to be treated fairly. They deserve to have their day in court. As a prosecutor, I know what it takes to try a case. I know the difficulties they're going to have. And by knowing those difficulties, I know how to fight the case on the other side. I am born and raised in South Jersey. I have dedicated all of my legal and professional career to South Jersey. That means that I'm familiar with the prosecutors who work down here. I'm familiar with the legal community. I'm familiar with the court staff. And you're going to hear this from other attorneys too. But I'm going to say, well, I bring dedication to the table. It means that when you pick the phone up and you call, you don't get a secretary, you don't get an answering service, you get me. I pick the phone up. And if I can't answer it, I text you right away and I call you back as soon as I can. The most important thing is to know your client's case, to know all of the evidence that the prosecution has, to walk into the courtroom and be the most informed person in there, because that is a weapon. That prosecutor, when they realize you know more about their case than they do, that's when they come back to you with a better resolution for the case, because they know they have a fight ahead of them and they know they're going to put work into the prosecution. And if they choose to do that, we're right there with them. We fight every step of the way. What justice means for me is fairness, in the sense that you are not treated any differently from anyone else. That issues in your case are brought to the attention of the court just as it should be in anyone else's case. That your representation fights just as hard for you as the prosecutor fights for the state or the victims. Because without that, that's when you have that disparity. That's when you have people who get charged with crimes that have obvious and clear defenses or weak cases, and they end up taking serious penalties for them and pleading to serious crimes because they didn't have someone on their side who recognized and was willing to put the time into litigating and fighting for them in court. Those are the things I think about when I take a case on, when I go in there and I think, what's my strategy? What are we going to be doing? Those are what I think about. I think about, what's the client want? What's the motion practice? And how can I approach the prosecutor to try to get the resolution that everybody's going to be happy with?